Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing awesome today. The day I'll be posting this, February 8th, will be my birthday. So, all I ask for my birthday is that we get 100 likes on this video. If you guys could hit that, I would be so thankful and very happy with you guys. We got Whoppers with us this morning. Lucky, say hi. I don't want no kisses. I don't know where you've been. Today we are going to be feeding cattle once again, because that's all we do here. I've got the silage truck started and warming up. The skid steer is also started and warming up. I'm waiting on my grandpa to get here so we can get started on bucket chores and all that jazz. Dad went up to the neighbors to help them set up the grain vac that they're borrowing from us. And yep, that's pretty much what today is going to consist of, is cattle. There's my guy. Good morning, 7:32. You getting a drink this morning? Yeah, I bet you was working real hard last night. Oh boy, and here comes your little girlfriend. Uh-oh, caught in the act. We're gonna go ahead and play a little song for them since they're getting all excited. That's right. Mr. Bull's on my tail. I don't know where he disappeared off to. I just saw him. There he is. That's right. Hi, buddy. This herd's pretty spoiled. However, for some reason, they won't let me pet. Like, we can try here. Come here, mama. Come here. Come here. I ain't gonna get out because you might kick me. Yeah. Come here. Oh, you're just eating the air. Cool. Yeah? Yeah? Now you're gonna give her a little kiss. No. I made her mad. Okay. Screw me then. Come here, buddy. Come here. Okay. Goodbye then. Here, I know what'll get you attention. Come here. Now they come. No, he's coming around the backside. He's making his rounds. There he is again. You just can't get enough of me, can you? Guarantee he comes around to this side now. I gotta admit, I figured it was gonna be freezing cold this morning, but it ain't honestly too bad. It's like, I don't know. According to my truck, it says it's 27 out. The wind isn't blowing though, so that's a plus. I've got a sweatshirt and I've got a t-shirt on under it, and then I've got jeans and sweatpants under that. I'm honestly pretty content, not gonna lie. I mean, it's a little cold, but it ain't bad. Maybe I just handle the cold a little bit better than some people. hours for the day. I'm gonna go home and get this edited so you guys can have a little video on my birthday here. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share the video with your friends. I'm gonna say it like I always do. You can share it with your friends, your cat, your dog, your cattle, your hogs, your sheep, your goats, your horses, your snakes, hell, you can even share it with your pet bobcat. I don't care. Share it with everybody. Share it with your friends, your family, anybody, everybody. But that's gonna do it for this. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing awesome today. My name is Brendan, and we got a little bit of a special video for y'all today. So now that things are kind of slowing down around here, I felt like it was finally time for us to do the official Hunt Farms tour. Now we're mainly just going to be going over all the different types of equipment we've got today. You're going to find all kinds of stuff around here. You're either going to think it's junk, it's pretty cool, or it might have a little bit of history to it. Stay tuned and let's see what we got today. So we're going to be starting up here at the Farm HQ, aka my grandpa's house. And then after that, we're going to move down to my house, and then the shed between my parents' house and my house. So, as always, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe or follow the page. And hit that share button, share it with your friends, your dogs, your cats, your cattle, your sheep, your chickens, your goats, your horses. Hell, you can even share it with your crops. I don't care. Just spread the word of this channel. That's the best way to support me and everything I do so we can keep pumping out videos like this for you guys. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. I will not be covering the grain vac, as that's just something that we rent. So we're going to start off with the smaller stuff first. This is my grandparents' lawnmower. It's a Grasshopper 932 gas-powered 61-inch mower. This is my John Deere Z930M 61-inch zero-turn. I used to run a little lawn care company, and that was my main mower right there. Up next, we've got this pair of Articat four-wheelers. The one is very old, and it's more of a parts machine than anything. My grandpa sprays brush and thistles with this one. Up next, we have one of my restoration projects. This is a 1976 Chevrolet Camaro. It's got the red interior with the turbo 350 automatic transmission. The hood does not go up properly since I have the springs and latches off, so under the hood is a pretty much bone stock 350 Chevy motor. All I've done to it is the Edelbrock 2701 intake manifold and the 1406 carburetor with a pre-cleaner. I'm hoping to swap a LQ460LS into that one day. Up next in the shed, we have a piece of history. Well, two pieces of history. We have a John Deere Model 420 right here. This is the first tractor I ever learned how to drive when I was about 5, maybe 6 years old. I might have been a little younger than that. Your hydraulics sat right here. I never remembered what this was for. This might have been PTO. Don't quote me on that though. Transmission, gear selector. You got your throttle right there, steering wheel, and you got your little instrument cluster right there. This had a little gas motor in it. I don't remember the specs on it though. Now we have old rusty trusty but reliable. This is also a 76. It's a Chevrolet K20, I believe. It's got the 350 in it as well. It's been hopped up just a little bit, but you could always pop a battery in this thing and it'll start right up every time. We call this truck Old Greenie. My grandpa first started feeding with it back in the day. It might be beat to hell, but it's got a lot of history and I've got a lot of memories in it. Sitting on the back of this truck is one of our TNS trip hopper cake feeders. It's got a flatbed on it. Then this is another piece of history right here. This is an Alice Chalmers rotary mini round baler. We've got quite a couple of these actually. I think we have 6 or 7 of them. Some of them have the white top, which they were kind of hard to come across back in the day, or now I guess. They're a very rare spec. We've got this little PTO driven auger wagon for feeding. I don't know what we used it for back in the day, probably whenever we were feeding hogs. Alrighty, making our way out of the shed now. Right behind me is the semi you guys see me in a lot. It is a 1981 Peterbilt 379. It used to have a sleeper on it. We jackknifed it a couple years ago, and now it's basically just a quote-unquote stretched day cab. This truck has a 3406 B model cat. It's all mechanical. Has a 15-speed Eaton Roadrunner transmission in it with a deep reduction. Then we have a Wilson pace setter. I believe this is a 38-foot long trailer. It can hold about 1,200 bushels of corn and about 1,000 of soybeans. And then we've got our bin site right here. Sitting right next to the bin site, we have an Aggie Westfield MK 171. Great grain auger for these bins. Can be a little bit tricky loading them out sometimes. And sitting on the front of it is a John Deere 4230. We bought this brand new. It's got 13,000 hours on it, I believe, somewhere in that area. It's great for the auger or the feed wagon, and that's about it. Now, if you guys look closely down there over the top of that hay bale pile, you will see 4 more of the Alice Chalmers little rotary hay balers. I'm telling you, we got a pile of them. Now we're coming out to the back corner of the farmyard, I guess you could call it. This is somewhat of a graveyard, but we put some of our tillage equipment back here as well. So we've got this M&W little red wagon, gravity wagon. We've got another, I believe this is a 79 K10, and it had a very hopped up 350 in it. Transfer case and transmission went out of it. Kept saying I was going to restore it, never got that far, so it just kind of sits back here. And then we've got my high school vehicle down there, a 2007 Chevy Trailblazer. Had a tree fall on that, so yippee. Here we have Dad's John Deere 2510 high-speed anhydrous applicator. We run that in the fall and spring, put anhydrous in the ground for mostly custom work. We do a lot of custom farming, and that is one of the main machines we use. My applicator is currently sitting in town at Co-op. It was just closest there, and it's easier to work on them there. We have a lot more space to work with. So my applicator is a Case 930. It's a 17 shank. Just got it this year. We did a trade-in on my old one because it was over 10 years old and I was due for an update. I have a lot of memories when I was younger doing square bales with this elevator. Basically, it's just a little chain. You can kind of see it on the bottom there. Set it up, drag the wheels, and it'll drive that chain, bring the square bales off the ground, right up to the trailer. You can stack them from there. We've also got our old hay elevator from when we would load up into the loft. This right here is our Phillips rotary harrow. It is 40 feet wide, and it can cover some ground. Not as fancy as a Kelly Diamond, but it gets the job done. Right here are 2 of our old augers that we used to use before we got the semi and had to update to the Westfield auger. These were just conventional dumps where you back up with a grain truck and dump right into it. We've got our very old hay trailer that we used to hook it up to the back of the tractor. We got a little 3-point 5th wheel ball put on it, and you could just back right up to it, pick it up and go. Frame was not very good on it because we used to overload the crap out of it. Right here is our Case IH 330 turbo till. Now, if you guys will notice, there's some welds right there, and that was my fault. So last spring I was prepping for plant, and that was when we still had the 9230. Now, I still was not used to the sensitive steering at the time, and I kind of got a little bit close to the ditch, and I saw a culvert pipe coming up. Well, I didn't catch it in time, and I jerked the wheel the wrong way. So I ended up catching it with the outer edge of this wing right here, and I bent part of the frame on it. So that was my screw up. We got it taken care of though. It all worked out great. And we don't have that tractor anymore. This is our old 20 foot, I believe. It might be a 20 foot. Kraus cultivator. It's pretty wore out. As well as this disc. Even though we use it for disking some CRP areas or food plots. This is just a parts disc. And this is a, I don't even know how wide this damn thing is. But it's a drawbar mounted with 3 sections, chisel plow. Dad picked it up at an auction like 6 years ago. I think we've used it maybe once or twice. And here's the man of the hour itself, our Cat Challenger MT765. That is currently down for the count. We've been struggling with it lately, having electrical issues, but that's just most AGCO tractors for you. Turns out this tractor just fried the ECM in it. We actually had the Cat Tech down today looking at it, and that was the solution we came up with. We pulled it out, and sure enough, ECM was fried. We've got another chisel plow right here. This is 3-point mount. We used this a couple years ago, so we actually do use that one. Here is the sleeper off of that 379. Like I said, Dad jackknifed it pretty good, which is a shame. That truck looked absolutely beautiful with the sleeper on, but what can you do? We will now move on to the other side of the lot, other side of the back side, I guess, and that'll pretty much wrap this up. We got another mini round hay baler, and these are our old hog houses. We used to raise hogs back in the 90s, and thankfully we got out right before the market crashed, so that was good on our end. I'm gonna try to knock a couple out at once here. This is Dad's dump truck. I drive it. It is a Kenworth T800 with 3406 E model cat or a C15. This is our inline hay trailer. It holds 7 bales at a time. I did a video on this during the summer. Feel free to check that out. This is our old Ashland scraper. We don't use it very often anymore, but back in the day, this thing has built quite a couple ponds. We've got 2 end dumps right here. We use this one for silage, even though it don't work the best. Then we've got this very old John Deere row crop cultivator. My grandpa spent a lot of hours on the 4010 running this back in the day. Here's a cultivator we picked up at an auction last year. We haven't got to use it too much, but so far so good, I guess. We got an old road maintainer blade right there. Old scraper right there. A Kilbros gravity wagon. Another one down there. And then we've got our inline harrow down there. I wouldn't really call that an inline, but it's a pasture harrow. That is my trailer. I use that for hauling my lawnmower around, picking up metal for my shop, or hauling square bales for deliveries. Up next, we got this Alice Chalmers WD tractor. Very old. We've had that for a long time. Hooked up to another mini round hay baler, Alice Chalmers. And then sitting up on the ledge right here, we've got some various skid steer attachments, some old tracks off of that Challenger, fuel barrel, and a tailgate. So that wraps it up for this part of the farm, I guess, aside from our 2 livestock trailers that are goosenecks and our T6 Kenworth that has the neighbor's hopper bottom on it. So now we're going to go down to my house, which is considered the cattle headquarters. I'll see you guys there. Now, for full disclosure, I will not be going into detail about how many cattle we raise or how much ground we farm, because there really ain't that much to talk about there. It's not much. It's enough to keep us content and keep us busy. We do a lot of custom farming, like I said, though. We work with our local co-op, me and my dad do, and we put on a lot of fall and spring anhydrous, along with doing custom silage shopping for a lot of local people, including a feedlot in the area. So while we may not farm very much, we do a pretty good amount of custom farming, and that just kind of justifies why we have the equipment we do, I guess. So right here is our John Deere 333G skid steer. We used to not have a skid loader. Well, technically we did. I'm about to show it to you. but we never had nothing really too big and fancy until about a couple years ago. We got a New Holland C232, and then we traded it off for the first 333G, and then now we have another one. So I'm really glad we ended up going that direction, because that works really well for when I was landscaping or doing brush clearing and all that jazz. So like I said, now we are down at my house in the cattle headquarters, which means we are in the feed barn, as we refer to it as. We have another M&W wagon right here. This one has an auger on it. Used to be a seed tender, now it holds feed. Hooked up to that is a John Deere 4010. This is the one I was talking about my grandpa used to do a lot of hours cultivating corn with. Here's our old skid steer. We still use it a little bit. It's a Gale 4610, and now we have a very beautiful tractor that just needs a washing. This is a John Deere Model 60, and it's the narrow front, of course, or the bicycle front, whatever you guys want to call that. This thing needs a new hand clutch rebuilt. Last time my grandpa drove it, it kind of shot the shit. Very beautiful tractor though. I've hauled a lot of square bales on this tractor, along with learning how to little round hay bale on that tractor, back when we used to still do that a lot. We don't really do it anymore though. Up next is our John Deere 1590 box drill. We use this to plant cover crops, and we plant some wheat with it, or some soybeans with it as well. My apologies. Here's our bush hog 1820. Mow a lot of pastures with this. We've had this for quite a couple years now. I'm gonna duck below these spider webs here. Now if you guys look over there, there's a black painted section. That was my fault as well. You'll see a running connection here. I cracked that square tubing open and it ended up bending and breaking. So I built a new piece, fabricated it up, welded it in there, and put some gussets on there. Seems to be holding up pretty good. We've got a Vermeer R2300 rotary rake right here, hydraulic lift, hydraulic fold, and adjustment for your windrow. Sitting right behind it is a New Holland 313 disc bind mower conditioner. I've mowed a lot of hay with that over the past good chunk of years, which we used to, before we got this, the dealer we actually got it from is out of business now, sadly, but they took our old 7450 hay bind and traded in for this. We've got this old John Deere 310 backhoe. This is a piece of history right here. Funny story. One day, I think I was like, I want to say 12, maybe 13 years old. I didn't have school because it was summertime, of course. And I got bored one day and I was like, you know what? I want to go dig. So I came out to the shed and I fired this thing up because it was sitting right there ready to go. Well, little did I know that the brakes don't work on this. So I decided I was going to go build a crossing next to a pond so I could get my fishing stuff over there a lot easier. And when I was backing up to start digging, Lord behold, the brakes didn't work. So I basically went off the edge of that pond bank, kind of. And I buried this thing. We had to get a tractor to get it out. That was fun. Sitting next to it is our old Gale 125 feed grinder. We used to grind a lot of feed back in the day, especially when we had hogs. Once we got rid of the hogs and kind of put our main focus towards cattle, we couldn't really keep up with it as much, and it might cost us a little bit more to do, but we can get a much better ration by having our local co-op grind it up and bring it out, set it on this trailer, and that saves us time in having to grind feed. That's the hay shed. The silage truck is not here. My grandpa and Josh are still out choring, evidently. So you guys have seen that in plenty of videos. There's not really much of a need to go over that. Now, we built this shed recently. This is our new cattle working facility. We've got corrals and pens all around it. We also store the silage box in there during the warmer months. Silage pit sits right there. There's some calves and one of my sister's show heifers. And then you got some cattle out in my backyard, just grazing right on above the pond. Favorite thing to come out and see in the morning. So now that that's all done, we will go over to what we call the combine shed, and that's where all of the big equipment is stored. All right, this here is what we call the combine shed. This is where all of our big equipment's stored, even though it's not too big. I mean, it's big enough for us. So we're gonna go over everything in here real quick, and that'll do it for this. So of course, up first, we've got my personal favorite, the John Deere 8430. We've had this for a long time. Very good tractor. And here's its new brother that we just brought home in my previous video, which I'll put right up here. This is our new to us John Deere 8370R. It's got like 5,200 hours on it. Now this right here is a tractor worth noting. This is a John Deere 4440. This is a first year tractor. This is the very first tractor my grandpa ever bought when he started farming. He bought this thing brand new off the lot, and it served us well. I love this tractor. I would love to restore it one of these days. I don't have the patience nor the money though. And then we've got our little grain cart right behind it. It holds about 500 bushels. Right next to it is our John Deere 4755. Me and Dad picked this up at an auction in Iowa about 7 years ago. Very good tractor. We use it for a lot. Coming over here, we've got our John Deere 560M hay baler. It's a silage special, so it's got the pre-cutters and all that jazz. And here's our John Deere 337 square baler. I love this thing. We bale a lot of square bales with it over the years. Oh yeah. I should have turned the lights on, but that's my own fault. I get to pay for it now. Here we've got one of our other this is our biggest grain cart. It holds about 650 bushels of corn, close to 500 on beans. This is our combine. It is a John Deere 9770 STS. This was the biggest purchase we ever made before we got this tractor. Before this, we had an old 9500. Coming over here, we've got our MacDon 30-foot draper that goes on the combine. We also have a 12-row John Deere corn head that sits at our other farm closer to town. Everybody's favorite machine during the summer. This is our John Deere 7400 silage chopper, and it's got a motor out of a 7500. I'm gonna get dark, I apologize. Really should have turned on the lights. Right here is our John Deere 1760 12-row corn planter. We plant corn and we plant beans with this. This is our John Deere 6710 silage chopper. This is our backup chopper. It was the first one we ever bought. Right over here, tucked away in the corner, we've got our old grain truck with one of my favorite black cards. This is an old International straight truck. It's got a 10-speed transmission. You guys can't see in there because I barely can. It's got a DT 466. Yes, DT 466 diesel motor in there. And yeah, that's pretty much all of our big equipment. So that's all the equipment we use here on Hunt Farms. And I hope you guys learned something about what we use. So I hope you all enjoyed this little equipment tour video. Don't really want to get into detail about the ground and all that. It's all kind of spaced out. Most of it's pretty close to home, but there's not really much to show there. So we're just going to leave off on that note. Hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Well, ain't that fabulous? The damn batteries are dead. Well, the batteries were dead on the red truck this morning, so that's a great way to start the morning, I suppose. Anyways, welcome back everybody. Hope you're doing awesome today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video, or follow the page. Today I'm setting our like goal to 50 likes, so if we get 50 likes on this video, I'd be extremely thankful. We're going to be feeding cattle today again. The snow's finally starting to melt off, so we're fighting the mud. And then we're also gonna go to a cattle sale around dinner time. So, ought to be an interesting video. Stay tuned. Now I was feeding these feedlot calves just about 1,400 pounds of this silage on top of the grain that we were putting on for them. That was a little bit too much. They weren't wanting to finish it, so we got to the point we'd have to get out and scrape the troughs before we got started. So I backed them down to 1,200, and they've been eating it a lot better now. Well, good morning, girls. Y'all look happy to see me. Or are you happy to see the silage truck? We'll never know. Hello. You weren't a fan of that. Noted. Oh, here comes the man of the hour. My favorite bull. Good morning, Mr. 732. You must have worked up an appetite. Y'all can tell it's kind of muddy here. Yeah, and I'm on a rocky area. Imagine what it'd be like if we got off of the rocks. Morning, girls. Y'all look happy. The groundhog said 6 more weeks of winter. Not really what I wanted to hear, but nothing I can do about that. But today's gonna be really nice. They're looking at mid-60s for the high. So I'm not gonna complain one bit. Being as it's my birthday weeks, it usually gets somewhat nice this time of year. It's really debatable. Some years it gets nasty, some years it gets pretty nice. Now when Dad's birthday week rolls around at the end of February, it gets nasty. But at least we're not calving yet. We won't start calving till March, so we don't have to fight the mud as bad. Come on, girls. This is probably my least favorite spot to finish out feeding for the morning because this is the last bunch, and as you guys know, I've showcased this bed in previous videos. It's not very fun to get completely empty. You basically just gotta sit, rev up the truck a little bit, get a little bit more hydraulic pressure going to it, and then it speeds itself up. But it's a little bit time consuming, so you just kinda gotta sit there and let it run. Alrighty, that's all the silage I'm going to be feeding today, because we're just feeding hard surfaces being how muddy it is. I'm sure they're going to go finish feeding hay and giving grain to everything. So I'm going to go fiddle around for a little bit before we go to this cattle sale. I'm at least going to go home and change out of my muck boots and put my regular boots back on, because I tell you guys what, I do not enjoy driving in muck boots. Especially when I'm in the Ghost, because that thing is a 6-speed. And I can't. I refuse to drive a manual with big muck boots. So I'm either gonna switch over to my hay dudes for comfort or my cowboy boots, because I'm probably still gonna have some work to do. So we'll see. Come here. Hi. We're gonna go ahead and get Mr. 732 in right now. One of my sister's shorthorns are in heat, and we're gonna see if we can't get him bred to Mr. Bull here. My sister claims she's in heat anyways. Dad thinks we missed the cycle, but we're gonna go ahead and put him in anyways and see what happens. Howdy ho, mama. Look like you're about to pop. We was on our way over to the sale barn, and before we got onto the big blacktop, we came up on this. I want to say it's a 8440 or 8640. She was puffing out some black smoke. We were starting to think the turbo was out of it, or he was in too high of a gear, or maybe he just had his fuel turned up just a wee bit much.
I thought it was Mazda, but I don't think it is. I think his truck falling.
Alrighty, this segment is going to be talking about cattle trading, so we're going to go through the couple of runs that I watched here, see what they sold for, and then we're going to go over the market report from last week and this sale. So last week, your 3 to 400 weight steers brought 410 to 450. Your 4 to 500 weights brought 375 to 417. Your 5 to 600 weights brought 335 to 394. 6 to 700 weights brought 297 to 341. 7 to 800 weights brought 285 to 304. Your 8 to 900 weights brought 271 to 281. Now on your heifer side, you had your 3 to 400s bring 354 to 375. Your 4 to 500 weights brought 330 to 374. 5 to 600 weights brought 314 to 336. 6 to 700 weights brought 272 to 299, and your 7 to 800 weights brought 260 to 273. Now, I didn't see how many cattle he had all together on that sale, but we will see that in this week's. And this is at Tina Livestock Market in Tina, Missouri. So our market report from Monday, February 3rd, 2,311 head were sold. On the steer side, 3 to 400 weights brought 435 to 450. Your 4 to 500 weights brought 370 to $4. 5 to 600 weights brought 340 to 393. 6 to 700 weights brought $3 to 362. 7 to 800 weights brought 272 to $3.02. 8 to 900 weights brought 265 to 274. On the heifer side, 3 to 400 pounds brought 370 to 398. 4 to 500 weights brought 340 to 373. 5 to 600 weights, they brought 315 to 340. 6 to 700 weights, they brought 268 to 303. And your 7 to 800 weights brought 260 to 278. So there was a little bit of fluctuation from last week. I think it looked like it was up a little bit, especially on your lighter side. And you get into your heavier side of your steers, I mean, you saw a little bit of a decline until you got to those 8 to 900 weights. On the heifer side, they were down a little bit, but the heavier side, like your 6 to 700 weights, they were definitely up a little bit. So now I'm going to go through on all of the drives we had and showcase what they brought. All in all, it was a pretty solid sale for this week. I believe the market was up, but that is going to do it for this video. We're going to showcase our new net wrap catcher that we got the other day. I got it for my grandpa's birthday, and then that's going to wrap out this video. So I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead while I can. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Tell me what your thoughts are on the whole cattle trading industry right now and what you think the markets are going to do. So be sure to share this video with your friends. Like I said, I don't care if you share it with your dog, your cat, your cattle, your chickens, your sheep, your crops, your friends, whatever. Just share the video, get it across. I want to be able to start growing a little more this year. So is it just two pieces of tarp sewed together at the bottom, or?
That's all it is.
Huh. I'll be damned. Well, if you guys want to be able to catch your net wrap a little bit easier, this is where we got it from. We'll see how it works. We'll see you next time, guys. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're doing awesome today. We're going to go back to hauling some corn today. I got all of Dad's contracts filled. Now we got to get my grandpa's contracts filled. So we're sitting up the hill right now, getting ready to start this semi, and let's get this day started. baby it a little bit more. Evidently, I got a little bit of a coolant leak going on. It ain't leaking internally from the looks, it just kind of leaking down the side of the block. So, not extremely alarming, but something to keep an eye on that's gonna have to get addressed. Other than that, I ain't got much else. I'm gonna be buying a orbital polisher so I can learn how to do that. My truck is filthy and I want it to shine. So, we're gonna buy a polisher, by God. Oh, hell yeah, brother. Tile plow must be Hofstadter's crew. They must be headed back up north. That snow's finally starting to thaw off the ground. I'd say it's about time to start plowing some tile again. I'll catch you guys whenever I get to the elevator. God, I love this automatic tarp. I'll get pulled up on the scale here, get a grain sample, and point her towards the pit, I suppose. Loading a semi with a grain auger has got to be one of the slowest ways to move this corn. We have been using a grain vac that we rented to clean them out, but it would not fit on this bin. Now, while I have you all here, I'm very happy to announce that I'm starting to work on merch, so stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to launch it here within the next couple of months, but I'm not 100% sure. It just kind of depends on how I can work with this company. With that being said, though, we're finally about to our 3,000 watch time hours mark, so we can start kind of putting that on with the channel. Once we hit that, I plan to kind of release a little shop. So, we're going to get this trailer loaded out here, and I'm going to point it south again to go get it unloaded. Okay, we are back with our last load on this contract, and that should be all of our contracts filled, I believe. I'm going to get this dumped, go in, get the check, and go find something to eat, because it's noon, and I'm not with the rest of the crew, so I don't get to eat dinner with them, evidently. I may stop at Subway, I don't know yet. Well, we got that done. While it's nice out, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. However, I'm still gonna do this anyways. We're gonna go wash my truck, because I haven't washed it since it snowed. And I really do not want that salt sitting on my truck anymore longer, so we are gonna go wash it. For those of you that are wondering, yes, this GMC Sierra does have quadra-steer. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can, because for the most part, it is rust free, and I'm gonna fix the rest that is. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. If y'all would like a detailed walk around video of my GMC quadra-steer, just let me know down in the comments. I've been pondering on doing one. So if that's something you guys would be interested in watching, feel free to let me know. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this one. I'll see you guys next time. Have yourself a good one. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's still pretty cold out this morning. However, we're not just gonna be feeding cattle all day. I got a pretty big video planned out for you guys, so stay tuned for that.
Welcome to this presentation of Brendan Hunt Custom. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and feel free to share with your friends to grow the channel and make better content. Now, without further ado, let's bring out your host for this video, Mr. Brendan.
So I am feeding a couple of bunches of cattle around home, and then I'm gonna trade off and give Josh my silage truck. And Dad and I are gonna go to Kansas City, and we're gonna go to the farm show. I look forward to going to the farm show every year, because that means we can just go look for stuff we don't need and buy stuff we don't need. But I plan on bringing the GoPro this year so I can take you guys along with me, and we can kind of see what all goes on there together. So I'm gonna get done feeding cattle, and I'll see you guys when we're on our way to Kansas City. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to put a text up of what the item I'm showing you guys is, and we're going to do some background music as well for a little collage. My GoPro was not picking up any sound of me talking at this place because there were so many people there. So that's how we're going to do this. This thing would be perfect for my yard. Ground drive and all.
I'm not, no, he's more famous with Coltrane than I am.
We got Mr. Man of the Hour.
I tried waving and he just goes this.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the farm show was kind of a flop. So we canned that idea. They didn't even have a single combine in there, so now we're walking around Rogers. I'm just strolling through the hay, dudes, looking for a pair I don't need. That light's about to bother me. Oh, score. I had a set like this, except they were in dark. Alright folks, here we are, day 2. I didn't feel like I had enough clips from yesterday to make a full video, so we're gonna go do a little bit more choring this morning. I was honestly pretty disappointed with the farm show yesterday. They didn't even have a single combine or really anything for big tractors. They had one big tractor, and it was the Coltrane 660 quad track. So I was kind of disappointed, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. They had some cool stuff there, but there wasn't anything big. So with that being said, we got the truck warming up, we got the skid steer warming up, and Dad and Paul caught a steer calf while I was getting all that squared off. They're gonna doctor it up real quick once they're done with that, which they should be about done. We're gonna kick the gates open and start feeding. so handsome. Yes. No, you can't drink my cold train. No, 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 sir. No, sir. You're gonna get way too hyper off of that. I genuinely think all of the complaining and fussing and fighting with the cold that I've been doing over the past week or so is finally starting to work. When I looked at the radar for this week's forecast, we're gonna be getting back up into the 60s finally. Now, with that being said, February still isn't over yet. So we're still very likely to go right back into a cold spell. So, I'm not gonna get my hopes up too much about it, but there's still a little bit of faith in me that says it's about time to get back to the field. And when it's time to get back to the field, that's when the content's gonna start getting good again. I gotta be honest, guys, it's honestly getting pretty nice out now. My ambient air temp in my truck said it was like 35 degrees. So I'd say it's pretty nice, wouldn't you, Mr. Steer? What about you guys? You guys think it's warming up some outside? I'll go ahead and let y'all out so you can get a drink. We will go over east and get our chores done, and we will wrap it up for the day finally. We will go over east, get our chores done, and we will finally wrap up our day. Now, I get a lot of questions asking about the feed wagon on the back of our truck here. It's a Kelly Ryan. It's a Kelly Ryan feeder wagon. Literally, it just bolts down into a, doesn't really bolt down, it more so straps down to a couple of tie down points on the bed of the truck. And then we have a ratchet strap here to keep the arms from spreading. This thing is ran off the hydraulics from our hydro bed. And for the most part, it is chain and drag train driven. But you can run it off your hydro bed. So this one, you pull that out, silage comes out, you can push it in if you want to run your track back. But it's a great way to feed silage, keeps our cattle nice and happy. And if you want to learn more about it, check out this video. But that's gonna do it for this one. As always, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and share it with your friends, your family, your cattle, your dogs, your sheep, your goats, your turkeys, your deer, your alligators, your snakes, your lions, your crops. I don't care, just share the videos. But I appreciate you guys for dropping in to watch today. I will see you all next time. See ya. Well, good morning, welcome back everybody. Hope you're doing awesome today. We're back at it again. I apologize for the inconsistent posting here. It's been a little bit of a chaotic week. But we are back, feeding cattle like always, and I'm ready to bring you guys a good video. So let's get right into it. We're finally starting to make a pretty good dent into the silage pit here. We fed off quite a little bit since the last time I made a video. But when you're feeding about 8,000 to 9,000 pounds a day, it adds up pretty quick. So Dad's gonna get me loaded here to feed the feedlot. We're gonna get that started, and then we're gonna go from there. It snowed again. It didn't do as much as it did the first time. We probably got 3 inches, I wanna say. We didn't get very much. However, this one's a little bit rougher because there's a lot more ice, and we are currently getting freezing rain. So it's gonna be pretty slick this morning. We kinda gotta be on our toes. That's a group of happy cattle right there, if you ask me. Well, it's currently the middle of February, and we're just now getting started feeding on our wet wrap bales. You would have thought we'd start on that in December, but we just didn't have the time or people to really run a 3-man operation and be able to feed wet bales. So now we're finally able to. And we got a crazy cow up yonder trying to get a bite of it. Whoops. Now, quick announcement for those of you that have made it this far into the video. I will be at the Western Farm Show in Kansas City, Missouri on February 21st. It'll be the Friday of next week. I will be there for the entire afternoon session pretty much. I'm not sure if I'll be there for much of the morning. That is going to be the same day all the Missouri FFA kids will be there. So if you happen to see me walking around, I'll have Dad with me. Feel free to say hi. I'll gladly talk to any of you guys. But I will not be at a booth. We'll be walking around looking for equipment that we don't need. So if you guys, any of you see us, don't be shy to stop and say hi. I'll tell you guys what, this snow ain't too bad. Worst part about this is all the freaking ice. It's pretty dang slick out right now. If it wasn't for all the ice, this wouldn't be too terribly bad right now. Oh, and a little update on the yellow tractor over there. So the determination of what caused it to fry the ECM was lightning strikes. We dated it back, and there was a lightning strike. There were 3 lightning strikes actually. There was one to the south of it, one to the north of it, and one right where it was sitting. So we're trying to work with insurance right now on it. I can't really go much into detail what they're doing because I really don't know. So I'm not too sure how it's gonna play out, what we're gonna do, go from where, yada yada. But I will let you guys know as soon as we do find something out. That tractor was not terrible. It was cheap horsepower. It had a great motor in it, but it had AGCO electronics and the whole AGCO system. So it doesn't really hurt my heart that much that it went down on us like that. But with that being said, since we just bought a new tractor, I don't know how exactly this is going to play out, because we need a 3rd big tractor. We can do without, but it's really nice to have it for a backup. I'll tell you guys what, there isn't anything that smells better to me personally than a freshly unrolled, wet wrapped rye bale. God, those things smell so good. They really give corn silage a run for their money for me personally. Now the other day I put a video up on all my platforms where I let you guys kind of debate it out, whether you thought freshly plowed dirt or freshly cut hay was better smelling. I don't know if you guys can beat that wet wrapped rye. That stuff smells pretty damn good. I should have a couple of good videos cooking up for you guys. I tell you what, one of those being a project my grandpa, Josh, and I are going to be working on. My grandpa desperately wants me to film this. And another video, I can't get into detail because it's going to be a surprise. But once it's finished, I'll let you guys in on it, and we can finally get back to the build. If you guys have any guesses on what it is, let me know down in the comments. Some of you probably won't know, but the OGs that have been around for a couple years now, they'll know. Also, in other exciting news, guys, we are about to hit 3,000 watch time hours on the channel. I am beyond thankful. We are very close to our 4,000 to finally get monetized, which I'm not exactly in it for the money. The only nice part about getting money from YouTube is that I can reinvest it right back into the channel to grow more, or invest in better equipment to put out better videos for you guys. Now, we're about to hit 3,000 watch time hours on there, so I will be setting up a shop for my channel, and you can buy merch from there. I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out which direction I want to go to do my business with, but once I hit my 3,000 watch time hours and I establish the shop, You guys can buy Brendan Hunt Custom shirts, hoodies. I might do some koozies. I will do probably some beanies. We'll probably try to set something up for hats as well. So, stay tuned. I got big plans for you guys because I want to keep y'all happy. Now there's a face y'all haven't seen in a little while. Hello, Mr. Bull. Howdy do. Still not quite ballsy enough to feed on the right hand side of where those troughs are, but we're gonna make things a little faster and we're gonna drive in and do a backup pull up method, come back out the other way. Actually, you know what, screw it, we're gonna try it. And we got some poop in the trough. We're gonna have to get out and shovel that. Alrighty, everybody. We are done with all of our chores now, so I can finally go home and stay in the warm a little bit. I ain't gonna complain too much about that. I'm gonna go home and get everything put back in the shed. We happened to lose one of our older cows this morning, so my grandpa is gonna go bury her this afternoon. Gotta love it. But anyways, stay tuned. We will be moving cattle next week, hopefully. We got to move some bulls around, and we got to get everything pretty much situated before we start calving. And like I said earlier, Friday, February 21st, I will be at the Western Farm Show in Kansas City, so come say hi. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.